Hello, my name is Bhagwan Chaudhary. I am a professor of finance at the Indian School of Business, ISB. Today, I'm speaking with Parag Modi and Chirag Mittal. They're both co-founders of a company called Kickforce. Now, let me set up a little bit of context here. Um, 80% of India's workforce, close to 80%, works in the informal sector. And usually these are people who stay in the informal workforce for a long time. That means the skill development and wage growth usually doesn't happen. And that is a big problem for the country. So that's where Gigforce comes in and other companies like that. So I'm going to start with Chirag. Uh, Tell us what the idea of Gigforce is.
So basically, what we realize over time is that in India, we have seen a lot of blue collar workers working into various segments, and they are mostly struggling with respect to the change, like which we call mobility, right? So there are multiple types of mobility. We put it like a geographical mobility, that people want to move across geographical areas. There is a temporal element of mobility. So I want to work. I'm studying today, but I want to work over a weekend, or I want to work or for a particular limited period of time. Or for example, there is a freedom which is required, that I need 2,000 rupees and I need to earn 2,000 rupees for let's say tomorrow. So is there a way to do that? I have a way to get a taxi, but I don't have a way to earn 2,000 rupees for tomorrow, right? So that is which we call as in temporal mobility. And the third is basically mobility in what we do. So for example, many of the time we are doing and we are earning, but we are not happy with that because we want to do something else. A guy may want to do work in sales, but he may be forced to work in delivery jobs because he was not really prepared for a sales job. So while he's earning, but he's actually underemployed or is not properly employed. So these are the three problems which we see, and we see that these problems are coming because these people were actually it's not a discovery problem. It's not that they're not able to find the right jobs. It is most of the time that these people are really not ready for those jobs, and nobody is playing in between the filling up the last mile gap so that these people can actually be ready and start working as and when required.
Okay, so there are a few things going on here that you're hoping to accomplish. So you mentioned one problem is, what if I move from Patna to Lucknow or Patna to Delhi? So that's geographic.
Right. Yes.
People in Patna may know I'm a good welder, but once I go to Delhi, nobody may know I'm a good welder. So somebody
Yes.
needs to vouch for me. So you need to create what you're calling a skill passport, which you can take anywhere. It's kind of like other schemes that the Prime Minister and the FM has introduced. One nation, one ration card. What you're saying is one nation, one skill passport. So you're recording what you are good at so that you can move from one place to the other. The second thing you're suggesting is that manufacturing jobs are usually fixed. You go and work for Larsen and Toubro and you work for them for 30 years. You're saying, what if I have only just a little bit of time? I'm a student. I have a few hours left and I want to work for a few hours a day but not have a permanent job, at least temporarily. I should be able to do that. And the third is, what if I want to make a switch? I'm a welder, but I realize that I'm going to be a very good investment banker. It's to take an extreme example, one should allow mobility in all these things. And for that, we need to record what one is good at. And also, the second thing you mentioned is we need to get them ready for those jobs. So maybe Parag, you can go on that part. How are you going to get these people ready for those jobs? Are you going to have set up institutes? That's not what you're going to do, is it?
We're definitely not going to set up institutes. I think currently the government already has the Skill India mission, which is trying to, impart vocational training to people.
The government has set up these skilling institutes, but they're not really working. They're not really working in the way we would like them to work.
So rather than saying that we will do a pure play academic training. We want to impart vocational training, which are very close to what the industry needs. And that's where we're breaking down what are the skills required for the job, what are the capabilities and softer skills needed, and then what is something that a particular company needs. And the way we look at imparting these is by way of, micro curriculum, so that what happens is you learn a particular skill or a vocation or a part of it, and then you're able to apply it. Basically, we're setting up a virtual network on our platform where you could learn some of these skills. While to begin with, it might be a little bit challenging for us to have the welding or the masonry skills. We will start with skills around saying, how do you do a sales job? How do you, be a barista at a Starbucks or at another place? Or how are you being a cashier at a retail counter?
What you're saying is that your first step is whether you can impart these things virtually. Then things that require physical this thing, you will have to partner with real businesses perhaps, where
Yes.
you will learn on the job.
So in that case, we'll do two pieces. One is, like I said, virtual reality and augmented reality, so that we get people at least the basics and they understand what is happening, right? So I have an online website where I go and click a particular icon, and I should be able to look at a particular equipment and say, these are the pieces and components of the equipment. Well, I might not be able to literally touch it, right? So you start with that, and then you move on to the next step, which is actually partnering with companies or small organizations who will...
Like a flight simulator. When you're learning to fly, you use in the flight simulator before you actually sit in a plane.
You bet. Agree with you.
So that is to provide the actual training. But now you're saying as people acquire different levels of skills, you will also certify them so they can carry that skill certification with them. Is that correct?
That is correct. We actually look at two ways of doing that. One is when people come in and say, hey, I know something, right? Or I've worked for a few years. We would actually start out with an assessment, so we know the level of maturity, and then recommend what more trainings they need to do. And at the end of that, again, reassess them, which is part one of the problem. The other part is getting feedback back from the industry, right?
This sounds like a great idea, but implementation of this is the key. And just thinking about it makes me think it's going to be hard, because it isn't an easy way. In other words, no actual standardization. How would you create a template where the skills are standardized? That seems, could you elaborate on that a little bit?
It has to be a very close industry connect to standardize it, right? What NASSCOM tries to do with the tech industry, right? They work with the Microsoft, Googles, Amazons of the world on one side, and on the other side, they work with companies which consume those services, whether it's a JP Morgan Chase or whoever else. And then they say, these are the kind of skills we need, and these are the trainings we'll have to do, and this is what a industry standard assessment is.
It into three parts. We create three kind of data points, which is basically what he know, what he done, and what he want. Right now, what he know, we can actually assess based on some digital test, based on some telephonic interviews or other stuff. The second part is what he has done. So what he has done is basically when he actually works somewhere with the employers, right? We collect the data and we say that, okay, how that work is done. It can be simply satisfactory, good or bad. It can be very broadly categorized. Need not to be very specific. And third is what he want, right? Which is basically what his preferences are, what his geographical preference, time preference, career preferences are. And these three data points actually helps us create the dynamics around it. The second element of understanding how the skilling actually work, right? So the skilling, so there are three elements of skilling, right? So one is basically he knowing the subject. Second is he's able to apply the subject. And third is we are able to standardize the combination of first and second, right?
About jobs, which is, can you assemble furniture for me or not? Maybe what we should do there is, instead of creating standardized this thing, we should just use the crowdsourced wisdom, where other people who have used me, you create some kind of a rating system where people say, oh, this guy came in there and he did a pretty good job. I mean, that's how eBay came into place, where these ratings of different sellers were basically acting as a certificate. So for
Yes.
very low level jobs, we may not have standardization, but other people who have employed me in a particular job would be willing to say, I give him 5 star because he came in on time, he was polite, he was courteous, and he did a great job. And if I have thousands of such ratings, then I begin to trust it. So there could be different variants of that. Are you thinking about that at all?
So this is basically, we are collecting that, but it is basically the employer who's saying this, or basically the businesses who are saying it.
So that's where the actual experience is important.
Yes.
People who are certifying are people who have actually used these people. So they are not just a test you're giving them. A lot of it is experiential. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think these are great ideas. Tell us how much progress you have made and where are you right now?
On the product side, we are hoping that over the next many weeks, we will be launching our MVP. So we will have an app out in the Google Play Store, which we will start using in terms of onboarding giggers and reaching out to clients, etc. Currently, what we're doing is we already have our marketing and onboarding giggers framework in place. What that means is we are running social media campaigns for a few clients that we have, and we're able to, even in times of COVID, we're able to, without having any physical interaction, get candidates shortlisted and then reach out to client sites as appropriate so that they can start working on their jobs, right? And on the other side, we've started creating for specific industry verticals that we are excited about. We've started creating content as well as training and partnering with experts in the industry so that the content, training, and assessments are very close to what the industry is expecting rather than, an academic and a theoretical view of the world. So those are areas that we're working on at this point in time. Chirag, you want to add? I'm sure I've missed out something.
Yeah, to add to Parag, so basically, so as a part of the progress, we actually have a lot of people who are very excited about this idea who joined our team. Now we have a great team. We have around 7-8 people who are working. 2 of our team members are alumni of ISB Hyderabad. And so that is one thing which we have. And the second is that we got very exciting response from the market, from our investors. We recently got backed by Unitas Ventures as a part of our seed stage capital. And now we are actually investing that money into technology, like Parag has said, and then the skilling is a very important area for us as a part of the investment. So we are investing into content, we're investing into skilling partners, we're investing with our assessment partners around that. We are already working with a few of the customers around it. I don't want to take the names, but we are working with people who are into the space of FMCG, who are into the banking, and who are into jobs like, for example, driving jobs. So, for example, there is a company who actually engages these people on picking up and dropping these vehicles for the customers in the morning and evening. And we are actually hiring, and then the same thing that we're hiring, certifying all these drivers who can do these jobs for us. So basically, we are already doing these operations, and we will hope to have a great app in next 2 months, which we will actually scale to probably 100,000 or 1 million users in next 1 year.
Okay. So thank you, Chirag, and thank you, Parag. I think what you're onto is really huge. It's a big task to be done for the country. And I think there will be gig force, but there'll be many such gig forces all over the country. And I think what we need is similar to what Amazon did in terms of marketplace. I think we are creating a marketplace for jobs and marketplace for skills. And I wish you all the success. And I wish others who are in this field working, trying to do the same thing, success as well, because as we used to say in Rajasthan, akela chana bahar nahi phol sakta. We all need to work on it together. So thank you very much for giving us your insights.